may have seen that before. Film showing the bursting of the first atom bomb, the experimental one, in New Mexico. It was dropped from a steel tower and filmed from about 6 miles away. Afterwards, cameramen and reporters put on special canvas boots as a precaution against picking up dangerous particles left in the circle of devastation, 2,400 feet in diameter. Atomic action had formed a brittle crust on the desert. The sand was reported as having been turned into glass. And as for the steel tower from which the bomb had been dropped, this is all that was left of it. The second atom bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, and this is the first film of the result. Most of the city appears to have been obliterated. 4 square miles of desolation are reported, but it's noticeable that a number of steel-framed buildings are still standing. That's the atomic bomb exploding at Nagasaki. The film was taken in a B-29 many miles away. All of you who see this picture can judge for yourselves the extent of the menace to civilization of this new weapon. Civilized people can only demand that such power be directed not towards their obliteration, but to the benefit of mankind. This is the Emperor of Japan having a look at the ruins of his capital before the decision to surrender was made. Devastation confronted him wherever he went. Tokyo was flat. These pictures are extracts from a Japanese film captured by the American Army. Hirohito examined maps of the capital showing the enormous areas of ruin. It must have been obvious to him that surrender was the only course. It should have been clear to all Japanese that the so-called Son of Heaven, as a divinely inspired leader, had been bombed out. In a Yokohama hospital, an American sergeant, John Archinal, is seen giving some of his good blood to save the life of Japan's former premier, General Tojo. Archinal must have been very anxious that Tojo should be tried as a war criminal. Tojo didn't use his samurai swords or his special harakiri knife. He preferred an American .32 automatic. But he bungled the job, so here he is getting a blood transfusion. He directed the attack on Pearl Harbor. He started the war in the East. He bears much of the responsibility for death marches and countless barbarities. His life having been saved, he will have quite a lot to answer for. And now, before showing you the amazing pictures of the latest bikini atom bomb, a brief glance at Hiroshima, 1 year after the atom bomb had been dropped there. Some effort has evidently been made to bring life back to the place. The Japanese have erected a number of houses and done a bit of cleaning up, but even after a lapse of 12 months, Hiroshima is almost at a dead stop. The town is still more or less a skeleton. It's obvious that another war would mean devastation and loss of civilian life on a scale so great that it can't even begin to be predicted. Meanwhile, Hiroshima begins to breathe again. Many of its inhabitants, including some of these children, bearing evidence in the form of scars and burns of the ordeal they survived.